Hello guys, my name is Amit. I'm security analyst in cross cyber security, and I'm just trying to share with you guys about malware analysis. So in this video, we will get familiar about some key factor about malware analysis, and we're gonna discuss what is malware analysis and why we need malware analysis. Is it good for future? We also gonna discuss this and what malware analysis do exactly, and how it affect on corporation and not non-corporation area like governments and some other companies like private companies like Infosys, Wipro, and there are so many companies. So we're gonna cover these things in this video. So let's get started. So what is malware analysis? uh, Malware analysis is the process of understanding the behavior and the purpose of a suspicious file or any kind of URL. So let's say that you have received an email from someone, or this email include file or a URL, and you want to check whether this file or URL malicious or not. And this is where malware analysis come. Okay, we know now what is malware analysis. Okay, let's discuss what does a malware analysis basically do. So let's say a malware analysis start with a piece of malicious software or code. Basically, the malware analysis do examine or research on a piece of malicious piece of code or software, and to understand its goal, like what it do and how it do exactly, and how it impact in our system or server, and what was the effect in our machine. Okay, so the the threat vector used to like we can say used to accomplish such an attack. We basically malware analysis basically collect the all information, what exactly do and how it do and what was the impact. So this is what exactly malware analysis do, and they also create the solution for that. And generally there are two employment setting for malware analysis career: working for a vendor, and second is working for an enterprise security team. Okay, so these companies basically hire the malware analysis, and what malware analysis do, they examine the attacks, and they create the solution to get better defend in the future purpose. Basically in malware analysis we really have a good career ahead, because there are a lot of company like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Mindtree, JP Morgan, IBM, Amazon, Flipkart, and there are also including like banks, SBI Bank, Citibank. These all companies and government companies and private companies are hired the malware analysis, okay, to examine the examine the malware attacks and the malicious files or suspicious file. They exactly uh, do the process and understanding of that rather file that is malicious or not. If that is malicious, then they provide the solution. Okay, so uh, the question is, malware analysis is the career for you, that you need to ask for yourself, like if you really love to play with the computer and the computer basic building blocks, and you're really curious about how the things get done inside the computer, and how the binaries work inside the system and hardware, and how they interact with the internet. If you're really curious about that you can say yes, the malware analysis is really good for you. Okay, so far we discussed about what is malware analysis and what exactly it do, and we also discussed is it really good for your career or future, and yeah. So when we're talking about the malware analysis, it have really a major part to there are many major part basically. So we're gonna discuss in this video what are the major factors in malware analysis. So far we discussed about malware analysis. What is malware? Let's say we get an email from anyone, okay, and in that email there is present any attachment like file or any kind of URL that could be the malware or suspicious, that we need to find out this is virus or this is malware. We need to find out. So for this we need to do the analysis. So there are two type of malware analysis, that is the static and the dynamic. So we're gonna discuss about these things, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to do static and dynamic, and there are also, we can say, the hybrid, the sum of two that we discussed, like static and dynamic. So we will see in this video, okay? So as we discussed, there are two type of analysis. First is the static and the second is the dynamic, and we can say the third is the memory analysis. That is gonna be the more complex if we're gonna talking about memory analysis, okay? So we're gonna discuss first static analysis, okay? Let's say a method of examining a computer program or code without executing the program. In very easy words, we can say that we don't need to run the file or any kind of suspicious code or software. We're gonna do analysis on that without running it, or we're gonna just trying to get the thumbprint of that file, so we can get the overall the scratch idea, that is the suspicious or not, that is doing something else or not. Okay, so the static analysis basically to gain some information without executing. That's the purpose of the static analysis. Okay, so we're gonna discuss about the static analysis. So as we discuss static analysis, uh, does not require that the code is actually running. Okay, instead, static analysis examines the file for like some signs of malicious intent. It can be useful to identify the malicious infrastructure or libraries, or maybe it can be the packed file. So uh, let's see, we have bunch of tools like PID process ID stand for. Okay, let's say we have an example, like we can say that this is our sample. We can drag and drop and we can see there is a p encrypted file. Okay, that basically these tools are giving us some kind of information that we can note down. Okay, so and we, apart from that, we have the PE Studio. Okay, so in PE Studio we also can drag and drop and we can examine the file without running. Okay, so as we see here, there are a lot of things: indicator, virus total, DOS, sub, reach, file header, optional header, directory, string. So these file we need to examine, and these hashes are the thumbprint of that file. So we basically need to just note down these information, and we just can, you know, do our operation, that is the suspicious or not, or we can check the strings, we can check the libraries, what libraries is using. Okay, so the basically the static analysis, we can say the technical indicator identify such as file names, hashes, as I show you here. Okay, so string such as an IP address, domain names, and file header data can be used to determine whether that file is malicious, okay, or not. Okay, however, since static analysis does not actually run the code, as we discussed this. Okay, so basically this is the static analysis. There are the bunch of tool like PEID and the P Studio, and we have the PBear. Okay, so PBear basically do, let me show you what PBear do. Okay, so we have the sample. Okay, we need to just drag and drop. Let's say we drag and drop and we can see there is the some hexadecimal ASCII table, and there's the assembly codes, and basically these, if we gonna discuss these about, we need to dig deep, you know. So these information, just for to getting the scratch, this is malicious or this is suspicious or not, we're gonna discuss in depth these tools, PBear, P Studio, and PID. Okay, so what is dynamic malware analysis is basically we need to execute, okay, suspected malicious code or software in a safe environment. This closed system enables security professionals to watch the malware in action without the risk of letting it infect their system or escape into the enterprise network. So that's why we need to make a safe environment for dynamic analysis. Okay, so in dynamic analysis, we provide that the threat hunter and the incident responder with the deeper visibility, allowing them to uncover the true nature of a threat. As a secondary benefit, automated sandboxing eliminates the time uh, it would take to the reverse engineering a file to discover the malicious code. So basically what we can do, we download these files, and these time we execute it. When we execute it, we are going to monitor how this file is actually behaving in our lab or in our machine. So something like that, what IP address this file is trying to connect, or what registry key, what it's trying to create or modify on our machine, or whether it's a file trying to download something from the internet. So these all things we can do in dynamic analysis. For the dynamic analysis, we use some tools like we have the process explorer. Okay, it basically shows the running process, what is allowing you, what registry key is allowing, okay, to the process. And second, we have the process monitor, the same, okay, that is the explorer, that is the monitor. So in this file we also can check the path, exactly the path of the oh fuck, basically we see the path where the registry key modification is happening, or where is the writing file or accessing or deleting. Okay, these we can check what kind of file and what registry key and what path are used by that malicious file. Okay, then after that we have the ida pro, basically do the reversing the whole malware. So we gonna discuss these also in details, what exactly malware doing while it's running, or what is containing, where it's jumping. Okay, so this is all we gonna discuss, and we gonna discuss more deeper in the dynamic analysis. Okay, so far we discussed about what malware analysis and what it do exactly, and we also discuss its career follow path, and we see some static and dynamic, and also we discuss a hybrid analysis, which is some of both. Okay, so that's all. uh, and basically when you're gonna enroll for certification, then we're gonna discuss more in depth. We're gonna look for the automation, we also gonna look for more critical and complex factor. So it's depend on you that how you take this information and knowledge, whether you take for the dark side or bright side. That's all depend on